Hello everyone, I am Plankera. Today we're going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. So last time I had just started cutting everything. I've cut a few things around the head. And right here I was finishing up the hair. So one thing that I was realizing yesterday is I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be able to keep the general style in this art. I think I'll be able to keep a lot of it, but I'm realizing that style in this is actually a lot messier now that than I thought it was. Now that I actually go and look at it and try to figure out how to stylize and redraw it. Let me turn on some parts around the eye just to kind of show that. And see, I have all of this separated, so it's gonna take just a little bit. But I mean, look at it around the eye and the iris here in particular. Those shapes are a little bit muddled in a lot of ways. And so what I think I might have to do is try to keep as much as I can, but I think some of it is going to have to be edited for clarity. Which is a little bit of a shame. It's like, strictly speaking, I probably don't have to. But I'm not sure if it's within my skill level as I am now to not, if that makes sense. Like, most of my style relies heavily on things being very, very clear. And so trying to match a style that's much messier but still gets the idea across might be a little bit outside of what I can do. That's okay. I think I can get close. And I think I can still keep a lot of the good points of this particular art style. Just gonna switch colors a little bit here, so I can hopefully get a cleaner cut. Not completely satisfied with my cutting around the hair here. So I'm gonna do a little bit more tweaking. It's gonna be a lot of me zooming in and getting things just right. Or basically with this cutting of an existing image where I'm not just drawing and doing a ton of experiments at the very beginning, means that I'm kind of in the point of rendering where normally I just start rambling to myself about random things just right off the bat. Heck yeah. So there's only so much I can do to describe exactly what I'm doing here, because it is literally just I'm going over the edges and removing them from the background. Doing my best to keep consistent line width and all of that, and making sure that the parts that I'm actually separating are lines and not just part of the shirt or skin below and that kind of stuff. It's very delicate work. And then piece by piece I'll also be going in and redrawing bits and pieces of it. Just little bits and pieces so that this way it all looks very nice. Hard part's gonna come in when I have to start really going in and void filling and drawing what'll be underneath a lot of these things. Like, I did a little bit with the head yesterday, but oh, that's just scratching the surface. There's gonna be a lot that I have to redraw with this. And that's when we're really gonna be testing my ability to match styles. I think it's an interesting exercise. It's like I could have done my own art, but like I said, I really do like the art in this game, and I kind of wanted to use this one specifically, of just being able to take the character out of the game and let people directly puppeteer her. Sounded like a pretty good time. Well, let's see. Around here is kind of where things started getting much messier. I think I'm going to try seeing if this color that I saw way over there will work better than this black. It was kind of being used as the outline here. Yeah, I think that does work a bit better. And man, some of these strands just get so delicate. You never realize how intricately drawn hair can be until you start trying to cut it like this. It's like, oh my, there's so much hair. There is so much of it. Here, I think I'll take this color. Because now that the hair color itself has changed a little bit, it's white at the tips and red at the top. The last time, I didn't want to go into these parts because I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with them now, but I've thought about it, and I think what I'm doing now is working. This is kind of when I resigned myself to not being able to match it one-to-one. I think that's fine. I think I can still make it all look pretty good. And honestly, pretty close. Honestly, I think the colors around here already look alright, so I'll just take some colors from around here and use that to paint in around this area. I wish the edges of this image weren't quite so messy, but here we are. The joy of transparency. Sometimes it doesn't quite go the way you hope. I guess I can try to talk about what I'm looking for when I'm trying to imitate some of the style here. And at least what I was looking at when I was kind of thinking about it. Like you can see a lot of it in the hair here, just all the different kinds of colors and various shapes used. Like you can see these little triangles here, the way these fold over, and they use a lot more colors than I do in mine. I keep my colors very simple, but there's lots of tiny little nuances here, and I think some of it is also artifacting. Like, I don't think that these big red blotches everywhere are supposed to be there. I think that's just something that got a little bit messed up when it was being compressed. So those I'll probably go over and correct. When the time comes. We'll see how well I can keep her mysterious atmosphere gonna go through and make sure everything's clean. Alright, now we're getting back into the whiter parts again, so I'll probably need a new color soon. Maybe no, that's probably a little bit too late. Still think this is probably okay, though. This is still pretty red. Maybe I should use... I'm gonna go check something up against background here. I'm not sure what this is. Is this a strand of hair coming out, or does it end here? This is just random artifacting. I think it'll be easier on me if I just call this random artifacting and get rid of it. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then just let the strand end right there. When the time comes for me to cut that out. Kinda like this color for the edges over here. And like this, I think is also some weird artifacting. So I kind of need to figure out what color I want that to be. I think I'll take this little bit more shadowy color from the white. And I'll make it that color over here. I'm definitely going to need to add a few more colors though, just to match up with the style here. Probably something like this. Yeah. And then maybe a lighter spot right through here. And then I can take that nice shadow color I found and just outline it. I am so not used to drawing lines. A little bit nerve-wracking, honestly. I'm just hoping that I can get it to move well when time comes to rig it. As you can see, I'm going to start cleaning up some of these parts just because those colors do not look very good, I don't think. I do not think that this was the intent of the artist when they were drawing this. I'll try to add the colors that I think look more like what the artist was trying to do around there. Okay, yeah, it's starting to look alright. I'll definitely have to do a bit more redrawing, but I think I will do that when time comes to cut the hair. Okay. So I kind of want to go back to finishing the head and face. And one thing that I think I want to do is I think I want to cut out some of these shadows on the cheek. Just so I can move them with the nose a little bit better. And I also know that I definitely want to cut out the line around the jaw. So I think I'm gonna do that real quick. And you'll see that I'm going to be hiding and showing layers all the time. If you thought I was doing that a lot with some of my other stuff, it's like, nah, nothing compared to what I'm going to be doing here. Because it's like when I'm drawing a normal picture, I don't have to worry about what's underneath anything, because nothing is going to move. But here, I have to worry about so many more things. Just so much more. For every little piece that I want to move, it just gets magnified in complexity real fast. And see, eventually this little headline is going to have to go all the way around, but I haven't drawn the rest of the head yet, so for now it's just going to stop here. There we go. This is also a case of I'm not super used to rigging with line art because I normally only rig my own art, which does not use line art. So this is going to be an experience too. Getting all sorts of new experiences with this one. All sorts of new experiences. It's important to keep life interesting like that. It's like I do think rigging or learning how to rig models like this actually improved my art quite a bit. Just because figuring out how to turn things and how things would look in 3D space was something I had a lot of trouble with. And rigging really forced me to understand it in order to make it look good. So I think really analyzing the style here in this piece of artwork and rigging that in something that suits the style that's being used here, and having to redraw it all and just all of that stuff I'm going to have to do for this, I think will be a very interesting exercise for me. I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, I'm already having a pretty good time. It's a little scary, but it's a good scary. Okay. Like I said, definitely make sure to name your layers when you are rigging stuff. You will be very unhappy with your past self if you do not. Once you're into the rigging program and trying to make it all work. Right, since I have this headline in another layer, I will be erasing it on this one. We don't need two. That's too many. Unnecessary complexity. You gotta keep your life simple. Always. Simple as you want it to be. As simple as you can manage. I'll probably go back through and make sure to put some of these shadow colors back into, just try to get it all. It's like what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to have the head itself be one flat color, and then I'm going to have the headline and head shading on a separate layer. I don't always separate the shading when I rig stuff, only for stuff that moves a lot and I just want that degree of precision for. And when it comes to VTuber models in particular, you don't want to skimp out the head. The head is what people are going to see for the most part. It's like when it comes to lower body stuff, it's like, that's not quite as important. So a lot of the time it's not even going to be on screen. Most of the time people won't even see it. But the head, yeah, you want to make sure your head is good. Okay. So I'm gonna duplicate here, I think. Gonna be head. And I'm gonna take my airbrush, turn it into an eraser, and then brush around the areas that are just not gonna have shadows. Let me go ahead and hide the eyes. I'm gonna need to put these into folders just so I don't have to drive myself crazy by constantly hiding them like this. This is gonna look a bit strange right now, but trust me, I know what I'm doing. Believe in me, guys. I got this. And I'll worry about making it all clean and stuff later. Don't need anything around the hair. A lot of this is going to be redrawn later. This is probably fine for now. So now if I turn the head on, and just make everything literally this color. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. Alright. So now I can figure out the shape, the overall shape of the head. Let's put her hair back on so I can see that. Pull this hair for now. And actually I think I'm just gonna reduce the opacity on that so this way I can see it and also see underneath it. And it'll make drawing the rest of the head a little bit easier, I think. So you can see this is what I mean by void filling, because it's like at some point I'm gonna want her hair to blow around and, you know, move when she shakes her head and stuff. And in order to do that, I need to be able to move all these pieces individually. And you can see that if I didn't have the rest of the head drawn underneath here, then when this hair moved, there'd just be a big old hole underneath. And that's gonna be true, like, I want the hair over here to be able to blow back and forth, for example. And, you can see, now there's a gap here in the hair. So I need to be able to know what is underneath this hair when it blows around, and that kind of stuff. So that's going to be a lot of the process of getting the art ready for rigging. I'm just going in and drawing what's underneath. It's like the head is going to be the most time-consuming part because it's the most important. And actually, what am I doing? I should be making my life easy. Ooh, this is not perfectly centered. Okay, I definitely want to try to get this all centered if I can. Because if I make it perfectly centered, then I can, mirror my work a little bit more easily. So I think at this point I have to start thinking like this, because it's like, if I don't have things centered, then I have to do left and right individually. That'll be a bit rough. Whereas like this, I have about half as much work to do, and I think that's pretty important, so I am going to be facilitating that, even if it changes the shape of her head just a little bit. Okay. Some parts of it won't be symmetrical, like her hair is just naturally asymmetrical, but I think I can afford to... make her head perfectly symmetrical. This way I only have to do one direction worth of head turns instead of two. That sounds like could be a bit pain. I don't want to create more work for myself if I don't have to. I don't want to if I don't have to. Okay. So let's try to make some of these head shadows a little bit nicer now. I'm gonna clip it to the head itself. This part doesn't need to be symmetrical. I don't mind having one spot being a little bit more shadowed than the other side. Do I have the nose? No. Okay, so I definitely want to make sure that I erase all signs of the nose and the mouth. Actually, I should probably turn some of these on just so I can see where they are. It'll help me draw where these shadows are supposed to go a little bit more easily. And I think I'd also like to have a reference for how it looked before. I'm just taking a look at what everything looked like before I started changing it. Okay, yeah, I think I'm doing all right. I might need to put in a few more colors in order to really properly match the style, but I can do that. I'll just be going back and forth a lot. Some of the colors I'm seeing here are going to be specifically added for the hair when the time comes. Yeah. So far I think we're doing good. Maybe a little bit lower on the cheek here. And then I'm gonna need to add some redness back into the cheek, but I think I will do that a bit later. That'll be a blush layer, so that'll definitely come later. And I can already see that my method of shading is a lot smoother. Probably have to rough up. Can't talk right now, but I will have to rough up the edges a little bit. Okay, I think I'll leave it there for right now. I already can see that I'm going to have a lot more to do around the forehead and the eyes. But the eye shading is probably going to be on its own layer. Now I'm taking a look at her mouth. I think I'm going to draw that part next. So what I did last time was I just cut it real quick. Get everything onto its own layer. Now I can go in and make it look nice. Taking a little last look on how they handle things. I think I'm going to use this kind of brush. A nice dark color from the original, and I still did not get it. No, it didn't. I must have misclicked somehow. I guess that happens sometimes. Then I'll just go in and shape this a little. can see some elements of my style coming through, which I knew would inevitably happen since I am ultimately the one redrawing this. And I think I want it to be a little bit more symmetrical, which will change the original a little, but that's all right. Probably zoomed in a bit more than I should be, but that is also all right. And I'll just go in and get all the details on this upper lip correct. Honestly, I'm kind of amazed that the upper lip and lower lip are such different colors. I'll have to think about that. For now, I will keep the colors as they are. And I won't think too hard about it. Alright, and then for this last piece, this is just the shadow underneath that will go underneath the chin. I am not keeping that part symmetrical since there's a light kind of coming this way. And I'm keeping that. So I'll just go in and light in that little shadow there and make this a little bit softer. Since I had to make it so hard when I cut it. Let's take a look at the nose. I didn't have it fully cut, which makes sense considering I want to separate each nostril. That'll make it easier to turn the head left and right, because then I can control each nostril. I'm just going to draw one and then mirror it. It's like I said, it's kind of inevitable that the art will look a little bit different here. And I'm kind of embracing that. So I'm doing certain things to make my life a little bit easier. The nostrils in the original weren't exactly the same size, but now they're going to be. I'll feather the edges a little bit with my airbrush turned eraser. Something like that. Let me turn my head layers back on. Yeah, I think that should work. Oh, really? Is that not the center? Okay. Maybe it's not quite ready yet. Let's see here. How did it look on the original? I'll be going back to that quite a lot. It looks like I might have made it a bit bigger. Not that much. It's just kind of how it was drawn before. Okay. So I'll be taking a little bit of creative liberty here. A little bit. Let's see. It's right now. It's like, that's definitely no good. Maybe if I just push it that way a little bit, make it a little smaller. Let's see if that's a little bit better. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And I want to make this one a little closer to the original color. Which was a little bit redder. We'll go ahead and do that. There will definitely have to be a little bit of editing, but that's okay. I can do that. Just taking a look. I think I am going to have to edit the original a little bit more. That's expected. It's probably going to take me a couple of tries to get it all right. It can be pretty difficult to imitate the style of somebody else. And like I've said before, it's not something I am super familiar with. I have not tried it very much myself. Nope, no good. There's just like a little bit of extra hanging off there, and I need to get it. So I'm pressing really hard right now over here to make sure I'm getting rid of all those stray pixels. Okay, that should do it. Okay, there we go. That's much better. Okay. I'm going to start putting all these into groups just so I don't have a million layers everywhere. Let's see, how do I want to do this? That should be fine. Just taking some time to throw some stuff into groups. This way I can hide things more easily. Okay. And we will shove all of this stuff into one group. Okay. And now on the nose, I can... Oh yeah, that's much nicer. Now I don't have to scroll for a million years just to get to the top. Okay. So for the nose, for the most part it looks like it's just kind of a few little shadows there. So I'm just gonna take my airbrush, make it an eraser, kind of brush over stuff to feather those shadows out a little bit, make them soft. I might want to divide this into left and right. Probably do, actually. Do I need to? So right now what I'm considering is, can I make an art mesh that would let me not need to? And with the nostrils separated, I think I might not need to. Let me just picture it in my head real quick. Because these are very vague shadows. So I think I can just, when I move her head this way, and so more of this light side of the nose is showing, I think I can just push the center line a little bit more this way. And when her head is turning this way, and more of the shadow side will be showing. I think I can just push that this way. So yeah, I don't think I need to separate them. No, I don't think I want to do it like that. Nope. A little bit too much there. Okay. I think instead of doing it like how I was trying there, I am going to erase a little bit on the edge. Because I do want to make this a little bit softer. And I want it to be just the shadow and highlight here. There's a little bit of excess skin from when I cut it out initially. So I definitely want to make sure to get all that off, but I think that's about right. And then I think I'm just going to go in and remove the nostrils like this. Just define here a little bit more. There we go. And now when I turn the nostrils themselves back on, it should look about the same. When I turn the head back on. Yeah. That's good. Turn the hair back on all the way. How are we looking? How does this look up against the original? It's like you can see some parts of it are definitely different. But I think it's looking pretty similar. I don't think I've changed it that much. Once I get the shading on the eyes back, I think it'll look a lot better. And I mean, I still have some redrawing I need to do in the mouth. But I just wanted to do things one step at a time. Alright, do I start doing the eyes? I think I do. So, when I was looking over the art earlier today, I noticed that you can kind of see the eyes on her hair here. So I can use that to kind of help me out. As a temporary measure, I'm going to bring the eye up here, reduce the opacity of the entire thing, and then I'm gonna go grab my eyelashes. Oh, okay. I need my eyelash color before I reduce the opacity. Order of operations. It's important. And then I'll be able to go through and do that. So this way I have the parts of the eyelashes that are underneath the hair, and I can add my own transparency later. I do not think I will do that for the eye makeup. Yeah, it doesn't look like they do either. So that's good. Having to look very carefully because it's very faint, but I can clearly see that's the eye there. See it kind of coming down like this. It's very thick. Just like that. I'll probably have to shade all this a little bit, but I can do that when the time comes. Now we're going to turn all this back on, and I'm going to move this back below the hair where it belongs. The hair will be turned off entirely. Her eyes are a bit wider than I thought they would be, but I guess that's just because that side lash is so thick. Change it up a little bit just to suit my taste, but I don't want to change things too much. Not too much. And then this is where I have to figure out how much of this is intentional, how much of it is artifacting. Bit tricky. I can see what likely happened over here was that they drew the eyelash kind of like I have it right now, and then put the skin color on top. So I think this part is actually going to be this color, and then I'll draw the skin tone on top to make it a little bit softer. But for now, I want to draw like this. Yeah, and this is just because I haven't completely flattened out the area on the head yet. And I get the feeling that's what happened with the lower eyelashes too, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw them like that as well. And then I'll make them more subtle with the skin tone afterwards. Okay. I want to take a look at the original here. Yeah, the lower lashes are clearly much less defined than the upper ones, so I'll be sure to make them a lot lighter. But they are there. I do clearly see little hints of eyelashes. Okay. I'm definitely making sure to name the layers and keep them all very clearly labeled. And to stay kind of true if I see them being drawn down here, as opposed to how I would draw them. And then I can clean up. And I'll get all that lower lash makeup and stuff in a little bit later. I think it's kind of funny that she seems to have these tiny little lower lashes, but I don't see any signs of upper eyelashes on either of her eyes. That's very unusual. But yeah, it's like I look at both of them and I don't see any signs of upper eyelashes. Well, I guess I'll keep that. And when I look at her hair, let's turn the hair back on for a second. Do I see signs of eyelashes in it? I don't. Okay. So that's probably just what her eyes are going to look like. Now I want to take a look at the eye white on the original here. Okay. So the first thing I noticed was that there are little light patches, but this one's lower. Down here. And I think I also made the lower lash a little bit too flat. So I'm gonna go adjust that a little bit. See if I can't. I don't want to see both at the same time here. See if I can't find where I feel like this issue is coming from. I'm going to trace it over a little bit. There we go. You can see with the lower lashes, I more imitated the ones on this side because I wasn't quite sure what was going on. The ones on this side. I think I need to tuck this in a little bit. Okay, let's see how that looks. A little bit more similar, I think. I think the rest is going to come from modifying this. Making sure I have all these shadows in the right place. Some of it is definitely just from my shapes being clearer than the ones on the official. Going back and forth, trying to figure out what's not looking quite right to me. I will take my airbrush eraser and brush away a little bit over here. I think before I can go too much further, I am going to have to start thinking about all these shadows around the eye. I just haven't gotten rid of yet. But I think before I do that, I'm going to start getting all the various eye pieces all feathered out and looking nice the way I want them. And I will probably have to separate out the eye white from the shadows, from the eye white shadows, to help with blinks. But I can do that a little bit. First, I just want to get all these other parts of the eye all in the right place. Must be some leftovers from the bottom eyelash that I haven't quite gotten rid of. Here we go. They gone. Let's take a look. Not quite. How about now? Let me get rid of these spikes here. Make sure it's all nice and clean. Alright. Now I'm going to add these into a group. This is going to be the eyelash group. And we'll get rid of them for now. I want to grab the eyelid. Looks like I had mostly cleaned this. Now I can just kind of make it a little bit softer. That's part of what the eyelash is for. And I want to take a look at the original, and maybe even on the hair. No, it looks like the eyelid is not showing in the hair. So I'm just gonna have to make some guesses here. And to kind of come down and around, meet up with the eye eventually. Probably something like this then. I'll have to make it my own shape to a degree. Never realized how many subtle little colors there are in all of this. Probably won't have it come down all the way, but we wanted to kind of follow the shape that was being shown to me here. I think something like that is probably okay for now. I already know that I'm definitely going to have to redo a lot of this. I'm going to be going back over things for a while, I think. Trying to really pay attention to the colors that are around here. Really want to make sure I capture the character's essence in all of this. Something like that, I think. And then if I just make it a little bit softer around the edges with my airbrush, it should look pretty alright. How does it look with the eyelid? Eyelid, I think I want to feather a little bit more down here. Ooh, I'm a little bit afraid of rigging this, if I'm being honest. But I think I can do it. I can at least give it a try. See what happens. Alright, let's look at the eyebrow. Do the eyebrows show in the hair? Sometimes they do in anime. Looks like they don't here, but I do think it has to be a little bit longer. I'll extend it out a little. And here I don't think I want it to be quite as feathered and airy as a lot of the other stuff that I've been working on. Because, I mean, these are eyebrows. They're a bit more solid than, like, shading on skin. Something like that, maybe. Let's turn her head back on. Yeah, looking alright. Now let's get some of this shading down there. So I'm gonna go turn on the original. And I'm gonna do some comparisons. Like, these colors are very different. The ones around the eyes are much darker, which I think is very interesting. I still have those there, so I'll pick some colors. And I'll brush them on in. It looks like this is going to be stuff around the brow bone. And kind of leading down into the nose. Something like this. And then I'll grab some of these colors, put them around the eye. And then I remember that the original, under this eye in particular, had these nice red colors that I kind of wanted to keep. That might need to be its own layer, though. Be around the eyes. Make sure it's not in that group, but it is in this group. I do not think it is in my eye group like it should be. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to... Okay. When you start dealing with a lot of layers, there are shenanigans. There are quite a lot of shenanigans. I'll fill this up. There we go. Something like this. It's like a little bit more eye makeup. And I'll just go back and compare it. Make sure I'm getting it all. I do think it's interesting how many subtle little details there are around the eyes here. Definitely doing way more with them than I normally do. Definitely can learn a thing or two. I like a lot of it. Just trying to make sure she doesn't look tired. Okay. So I'm gonna go collapse my eye group so I don't have to scroll quite as much while I work on this, since I'm going back and forth between the original and my redrawing so much. Take that from around here. Try to blend these two colors together a little bit more. And then I'll make it a bit softer. Just like that. Up here, I'll worry about more once I have a bit more of the head drawn. Some of this is just kind of remnants from hair and stuff like that. Start going all the way around the head now, I think. Oh, I should have. Yeah, I think I should have. No. No, I don't think I need symmetry on for this. The shadows on the head are just asymmetrical. They just are. That's fine. That part I will have to just rig separately. That's okay. I can deal with that. Something like this. The other eye we'll worry about in a little bit. Just keep it nice and soft. It's like I do feel like that the author of the original had a bit more texture and definition. Some of that I think is just artifacting, but there's parts that I'm definitely not replicating to my satisfaction yet. But I think it's looking okay overall. Might just need to figure out how to throw in a few more colors. I'm not sure yet. But for now, I will do what I can. You can see her face in the original wasn't completely symmetrical either. That's going to be one of those subtle little differences. Forgive my flipping back and forth, but I gotta make sure I'm doing everything right. I ended up having to redraw a little bit more of this than I was hoping I would, but I think it's okay. Let's go visit some more of the headline. For that, I do not want the background, and I actually want to take a look at it without the head. To make sure I cleaned it well. Because it does look like there's a couple of areas I didn't clean very well over here. I want to make sure that those are good. Okay, that should be alright. I can turn some of the head parts back on. Grab my color. And yeah, you can see I haven't completely filled in here yet, so I will have to do that. Do I want to do headline yet? Like, am I satisfied with the shape of the head overall? I'm not actually sure if I am. I'm not super great at drawing bald heads like this. But before I do, let's just really make sure that everything is in a good spot here. Oh no, I'm on the headline layer. I definitely cannot have that. That would have been so bad. Oh gosh. I'm glad I caught it before I messed things up. Pretty much would have meant time to draw a new headline from scratch. Okay, so I think I can believe it all the way up until there. So all of this is completely correct. Which means that the shape of my head is actually probably pretty okay. Anime characters just have really floofy hair, so I guess this is alright then. That's good. Maybe I can just go ahead and do my headline then. I have to redraw it, it's not a big deal. Let's go hide the original so I can see what I'm doing. And we'll just go all the way around. All the way around. You can see I have no confidence when it comes to line art. Okay, line art is one of those skills that comes with time, and because I never draw with it, I don't practice it. Well, that's just kind of how it works out. That's just kind of how it works. As you practice at things, you get better at them, and if you don't practice, you don't get better. The unfortunate truth of the world. This is probably a bit thicker than I want it to be overall. But it's a start, and I can go in and start cleaning it up soon. This is definitely much thicker than I want it to be. So I feel like in the original, most of the lines are... actually, they're kind of thick, aren't they? See over here. Yeah, okay. They're a little bit thicker than I thought they were, but maybe not quite that thick. I'll go in and clean them up. As I always have to do when I try to imitate line art like this. Just kind of the way it is. It's difficult, but I do it anyway. I say I need to make the line art thinner as I make the line art in other places thicker. Like, brain, why do you gotta contradict yourself like that? You're so silly. Silly little brains. Right now I'm not too concerned if the skin layer doesn't go all the way to the edge of the line layer. I can go add that later and fix it all up and make it nice. There we go. Should be a little bit better. Let's take a look. Okay, it's still a little bit uneven over here, but it's definitely looking better. So I'll go in and zoom in a little bit less and try to make this a little bit smoother and more even. As right now it seems a little bit lumpy, and you guys know how I feel about lumpiness. Gotta make everything nice and smooth. No lumps allowed. Before I go and check it again, I think I will go ahead and make sure that the skin is right up against the lines. There we go. Oh, a little bit too far there. And because this is all symmetrical, as long as I have my symmetry tool active, which is what this line is, it'll do the same for the other side for me. Very convenient. This way I don't have to draw quite as much either. You ever wonder why VTuber models are always symmetrical? This is pretty much why. It's like, they don't have to be, but it saves so much work. You just don't have to do quite as much. And that's very nice because making models like this is very time consuming and tedious already, so anything you can do to save yourself some effort is very much worthwhile. That's why I said that when I started this project, I figured that it might be what I end up streaming for the next couple of months. It does literally take that long to make one of these. Okay, there's a little few parts I still kind of have to fill in, but how's it looking? We're getting there. Still need to kind of fix around there. I think up here is looking okay though. Some of that might just be from not having this filled in, so I'm gonna go take another look. This part's just taking me a little bit longer due to me not normally using line art, but kind of being forced into it here. Kinda want to get the top good before I move on to the rest. Why? No particular reason, I just do. Just kind of makes sense. It's like I'd already kind of gotten started here, so why not finish what I started? Yeah, I can see where this area is not quite right. Just right through here. Right through here. There we go. How are we looking now? Alright, still just a little bit right through here. But every time I zoom out, it gets a little bit better. So I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Eventually, it'll all be done. Didn't expect this part to be quite this time consuming, but I suppose I should have, considering I tend to have a bit of trouble with stuff like this. Just from not being very used to line art. Alright, how's that? Okay, I think that's good. I think so. I'm not sure if this is a weird lump or not. But I think that's how it looked in the original. Let me take a look. Yeah, it's like for the most part, I don't feel like a lot of stuff in that area has changed. It's like her head is a little bit wider on this side now. That might be something worth adjusting if she starts looking a little bit strange. But right now I don't think she's looking strange or anything. I do feel like there's something that's been a little bit lost in the shading, but I'm not quite sure what it is yet. I will have to study that, and part of it might just be that she's missing an eye. That does tend to mess things up a little bit. But yeah, I think that's where I will stop it for today. Got quite a lot of the head done there. The head is going to be by far the most time-consuming part, so that's some good progress. So thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at any of your creative work, whether that be art, writing, programming, game design, any creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or at me on Twitter or Instagram, and I'll take a look and maybe leave some comments. So, See you tomorrow.